Game one of the Stanley Cup final in the books. Eric Engels joins me for our daily dose. And Eric, all the headlines saying Tampa dominates Montreal, but I feel like it was a couple blue line turnovers away from being a much closer game. Would you agree?
Yeah, a couple missed chances too on the Canadiens' end, but you're 100% right, Danielle. Luke Richardson coming into the game said the number one priority for the Canadiens was puck management and not creating and feeding that counterattack that Tampa thrives on. And you know what? You look at the first couple goals in the game, Cole Caulfield, Brendan Gallagher are trying to make offensive plays at the blue line. They're good plays to try to make to generate goals. But as Luke Richardson pointed out after the game, if you're going to be stationary making that pass and it ends up getting cut off and going the other way, you're at a deficit to cover the numbers game. And that really hurt the Canadiens. And when they pour over the video from game one, I guarantee you those clips will be prominent. So will the third goal where they gave a puck up in the neutral zone and it came back their way, a couple bad bounces that led to that goal, but it still started there. This is the number one priority for the Canadiens. They said it before game one. They will say it before game two. They need to manage it better in game two.
Well, clearly a number one priority for Jon Cooper was figuring out how to shut down the Danault line because they've been an absolute beast throughout this postseason run. Is it just a matter of Cooper playing chess, not checkers here? What were they doing better than other teams they've faced so far?
Well, full respect and full credit to Jon Cooper, because the one reason that he's probably a Stanley Cup champion is he has no arrogance about who his team is, no matter how good they are. He has the respect factor for Phillip Danault and his line and what they've been able to do. And I think that was somewhat lacking in the first series of this playoffs with Toronto. You know, you look at their team, obviously the offensive juggernaut that they have, they weren't as concerned about it and they didn't adjust enough to it. And Phillip Danault got the better of those guys and they were never able to really get away from them. In Winnipeg, bit of a different story. Mark Scheifele goes out in the first game. They were less in control of the matchups after that. You look at the Vegas series and the top six they have, there was a certain level of arrogance that, Danault might get his licks in and may be able to do his job, but we should be able to prevail with the guys that we have. Well, they're out in less than 7 games. Not only did Jon Cooper keep the Braden Point, Kucherov, Palat line away from Danault, Gallagher, and Lehkonen, he saddled those guys with Yanni Gourde, Barclay Goodrow, and Blake Coleman, and made it a really tough game. That could pay dividends in the long run of this series when the series shifts to Montreal and the Canadiens are in control of the matchup. The harder the game gets for Phillip Danault and his line mates, the harder it will be to execute his task when they actually do have control of the matchup.
Eric, when we look at the Bolts, I can't help but always think this era is Steve Stamkos' team, but maybe we need to be focusing more on Nikita Kucherov, who's 1B in this scenario. He has 64 points through 2 playoff years. It's just incredible stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Canadiens are focusing on him quite a bit. You know what? Like 1A, 1B, I think he's 1A in the world. I think we should start talking about him in that conversation where McKinnon's name gets brought up and McDavid's name gets brought up. And I understand the skill set of both guys, but this guy who raises his game at the hardest time of the year to do it and does what he's doing in this prolific Lightning team and the way he does it at both ends of the ice, I really don't think he gets enough respect in the conversation of best players in the world. I think he's right up there, former Hart Trophy winner, and maybe people forgot because he didn't play the regular season, but this guy is just unbelievable.
That's just a ridiculous thing in itself, too. Didn't play the regular season, blowing it up in the playoffs. Quick thoughts, Eric, on Montreal hosting the 2022 draft?
Yeah, quick thought is I'm sure the fans will be thrilled about it. Obviously, the pandemic stole away their last opportunity to host the draft. It was supposed to be in 2020, and 2009 was the last time it was here. It was a pretty special event. And hopefully this whole pandemic is behind us by the time we get to 2022 and they're hosting it, because that'll enable everyone to be in the building and to enjoy it.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Thank you.